How billionaires took over college football. That's facts. Whoever got bread now, that's who's gonna have the good teams.
Really what you think it is.
In July 2021, the college football world turned upside down. For the first time in the sport's history, players could monetize their name, image,
It was
and
long
likeness,
overdue.
NIL.
Long
The
overdue.
gold-rushing
Hey, what do y'all think? Let me know what y'all think about NIL in the comments. Let me know that. Let me know.
Sued, but not in the way the NCAA expected. In the 3 years since, rogue nonprofits and billionaires have used NIL as a Trojan horse to pay players directly. This has transformed the sport into a Wild West. And believe it or not, it just got crazier this week. The Biden administration issued guidance that sent shockwaves through athletic departments across the country and upended the NCAA's plans for the fall. This video will expose college football's massive NIL scam and demystify its hazy future. But first, let's wind the clocks back to 1869.
I don't know if we need all this.
The first college football game in history took place between Rutgers and Princeton 4 years after the end of the Civil War. It was actually the first official football game on American soil in general. It wasn't until decades later, after World War I, that the sport exploded in popularity. It was known as America's most popular sport, especially in the South and Midwest, where college football became king.
No, returned by Chris Davis. Trouble with the snap.
Oh, man.
Ball is free.
It's crazy. I wasn't really a Michigan fan at this time. Like, they were even recruiting me when this happened. So I was kind of just like, oh, man, tough way to lose. And then I ended up getting there, and it's like, oh, damn, fuck.
Picked up by Michigan State. Jalen wants Jackson, and he scored.
Today, college football remains a unique sport. It's a sport with unparalleled passion, pageantry.
Oh, nah, people don't fuck with NIL for real, because now people that are younger than them getting paid more than them.
Arrested this man.
Like, there was like a senator or something like that. He was like, yeah, it's crazy like that these players are getting paid millions. It's like, whoa, like why do you care about how much they're getting paid if that's their like market value? Like, it's really just capitalism for real. And I mean, everyone loves capitalism, so it's time for athletes to get paid.
And who they say
what's good, DeBeer?
Beloved oak trees at Auburn University.
And I saw where they put a Scam Newton jersey on Bear Bryant's statue. The weekend after the Iron Bowl, I went to Auburn, Alabama, and I poisoned the 2 tumor trees.
It's the only sport
That's one of the
that
craziest
fills
stories ever.
100,000 seat venues every weekend. In fact, 8 of the 10 biggest stadiums on planet Earth are college football stadiums. And it's also unique in that it's played not by professionals, but by amateurs. Yes, they generate billions in revenue and command TV ratings that only the NFL can top, but they are, nominally at least, amateurs. Amateurs who don't get paid. Now, you may be rolling your eyes.
I can't hear. We can't hear you. There's too much money in my hand.
There is a long history of
so
under-the-table payments that
Nah, I'm not
dates
playing ball
back
no
to the
more.
early
Yo, what's
20th
good, Connor?
century and has led to scandals involving some of the sport's biggest names like Johnny Manziel and Reggie Bush. But all of this was in the shadows, and we may never know the full scale of the pre-NIL black market.
I'm a cheater earlier.
I was just joking around. I don't think the SEC paid players ever. No, I'm joking. Are we not? Is this not a fun show?
No fun.
Serious show?
Serious football.
Like Alabama Jones is very serious.
I definitely fried
Well,
him.
regardless of the past, now the payments are over the table, but no less sketchy. Now, I have so many questions about the
All right,
shady
bet that.
financial underworld of college football today. To answer these questions, we talked to agent, sports reporter, but there's nobody better suited to answer these questions than this guy.
Hey, Brandon Wimbush. I was actually gonna put him. So yeah, I put the I've done like the top players I played against in my career. I was gonna put him, so I never technically played against him, but we were gonna play against him if we had won the semifinals my junior year. Dog, when I tell you he was one of the coldest high school quarterbacks I've ever seen, like the combination of him and Minka Fitzpatrick, bro, she used to go stupid. Like abuse teams, absolutely abuse teams.
Guy right here, Brandon Wimbush. Brandon founded a successful NIL company called Mogul. Here he is actually in this year's Forbes 30 Under 30, next to a few nobodies. And before that, he was on the other side of the table as a player.
3 Wimbush looking deep. Chris Fink down there.
I remember this game.
Remember
this one. First game 2018.
Chris Fink down there. Fink, did he catch it? Yes!
Damn.
He also happened to be a close personal friend and, much more importantly, a Roku News follower.
I think the problem with this current system is that it's not what NIL was made out to be. NIL was made out to be, you're going to use my face and plaster it on ESPN and plaster it on a billboard within my local community to promote.
That's facts.
So
That really
you
is
should
what
be
it
like
was,
Johnny
or what it was
Manziel
supposed
should
to
be
be.
able to get paid for autographs.
Yo, it was good,
He
Camp.
should be able to get paid to be in commercials. He should be able to get some revenue and some of the brand value
From
he's
brands,
created.
from third party brands.
So when the NCAA legalized NIL in 2021, the system sort of operated as Brandon described here. College athletes made money by striking deals with third-party brands. Brands that didn't care about the schools the athletes played for. Take 2021 Heisman winner Bryce Young as an example. The Alabama quarterback inked six-figure deals with Beats, Celsius, Dollar Shave Club, and Nissan. He also
I will say though, there are very few players that can command these types of brand deals. Like, you have to be a kind of a superstar to the point where you're like a national name. You could be even a really good college football player, and you won't have these types of deals.
reportedly
Now Micah Hudson's his demands was kind of crazy. Now, I don't know if that was necessarily true. I feel like Texas Tech put that out, or someone put that out just to try and like make it seem worse than it is. But I have a hard time believing all those were the demands. There wasn't really a lot of under the table stuff in Michigan. I didn't see none of it. Shit, I was a walk on to start, so they wasn't coming to me with anything.
inked a $1 million deal with Cash App. These brands weren't doing him or Alabama football a favor. Nissan isn't a Roll Tide.
I will say though, hey, Bryce Young gonna be a
Roll
top
Tide
10
Willie
quarterback
isn't
next
their
year.
CEO.
Top 10 quarterback in the NFL next year.
They merely sought
Stamping
Bryce
that.
Young's commercial value. And by the way, it wasn't just college football athletes that cashed in these early days. When popular TikToker Livy Dunn arrived at LSU as a freshman, she couldn't accept a
I did
single
say,
brand
too,
deal since she happened to be a gymnast
I
at
think
LSU.
I was like, I
Her
think
life
female
changed
athletes are gonna make
overnight
way
in the
more
summer of
NIL,
2021.
like
The
actual NIL.
rule change allowed her to become a brand ambassador
Because they just
for
way better
companies
influencers
like
than the guys.
Dior,
Like the guys, you look at their
leveraging her
Instagrams,
13
is like
million
literally like 2
followers
pictures,
across
3
Instagram and
pictures. That's it.
TikTok.
If you're not just if you're not like, one of the top players in the entire country, without like the collectives, you weren't really getting paid just because of your social media presence. Like the women, their social media presences be way better.
And Viore athlete.
She now has an annual NIL valuation of $4.2 million and is another athlete living up to the true meaning of NIL. But soon, all of this changed. Boosters
Cam, I don't know
began
Ennis
to
Gaines.
offer ad deals to top players at the school they rooted for, not because of their commercial value, but because of their football value. They offered their favorite players wildly overpriced NIL deals.
I will say though, it's only overpriced because you think it's overpriced. The market, that's what it says they're worth.
Take this guy, for example, Gordon McKernan, a Baton Rouge-based lawyer and LSU superfan. In the fall of 2022 alone, he paid LSU players a total of $750,000 to $1 million to appear in ads for his law firm. This happened at big programs across the country. In the first year of NIL, Miami billionaire John Ruiz reportedly spent $10 million on Miami Hurricanes athletes.
It's crazy too because that's like a drop in their pockets. Like that is barely anything to them.
He
That's like dropping 20 on
company
something.
Life Wallet for those deals, though some of them may be in jeopardy now since Life Wallet lost $211 million last year and may be going out of business. In 2022, the next
Bankrupt your
evolution of
business
NIL
for
took place.
college
more
football.
Lone Wolf booster deals. They began to consolidate into what we know now as collectives. Here's Colorado coach Deion Sanders explaining collectives.
Okay, collectives is if we took an offering up in this classroom, we passed the bucket like a church, and you put it's a collection plate, and you put your collective in, and then we say, you know what, we got 10 players up here, and let's divide that. That player right there should get $10. That player right there should get $20. That's a collective.
Deion Sanders
the collectives
is
definitely started going
exactly
crazy.
right. In the popular media, we conflate the terms NIL and collective money. But the reality is almost all of it's collective money, especially in college football. College athletes earned an estimated $1.7 billion last year and an estimate.
What's crazy though is they've generated way more than that. Generated significantly more than that. So yeah, you're not gonna see me saying, "Oh, that's too much for them." That's too much. Like if that's what they're worth, that's what they're worth. You feel me?
Estimated 80% of it came from
Got you.
collectives. Now, collectives aren't formally involved with athletic departments, but they work closely with them. They work together to sign top recruits and poach players from other programs via the transfer portal. They also work hard to retain players in the locker room.
Pay athletes to come and play, but they also pay athletes to retain rosters.
If you scroll through the On3 valuation portal, you'll see the estimated NIL value of each player. At the top, you have Arch Manning. He's worth $6.6 million. Interestingly, you have two non-football players in the top 5, Livy Dunn and Duke superstar Cooper Flagg. But of the top 25 most valuable college athletes, 21 are football players. And some of them are teenagers. At 19, you have Ryan Williams, a wide receiver at Alabama who's 17 years old, and he makes $2.2 million.
I'm just so happy, bro. We're not gonna have to hear that every time Ryan Williams does something next year. Like, tough player. But after like the first 3 weeks, all right, we get it. He's 17 years old. We got it.
$1 million per year. Top recruits coming out of high school now are signing up to $12 million years for their 4-year careers in college. We are in the
You got the
early
bread
days.
for it. You got the bread for it. You already get your money up.
Get crazier. And speaking of crazy, Brandon told us something that we had no clue about that sent us down another rabbit hole.
These collectives have been set up as 501c3s, right? Tax-exempt donation entities.
Well, hold on. These are tax-exempt nonprofits? How can they possibly justify that? The way programs justify it now is they say we're going to pay these players money, but they have to participate in a couple charity events. Here's Brandon's example from Notre Dame.
So generally, again, set up as 501c3s, meaning that these athletes were going to go support a charitable organization, right? Generally within a community. So example that I'm familiar with, South Bend has a few boys and girls clubs. They're all over the country, right? And so those are generally beneficiaries of collect.
Hi, kid.
So
W
a couple
finesse.
charity cameos over the course of a year, and that gets you $1 million bucks. Are you skeptical? Let's look at the collectives of two of the biggest programs in the country, University of Texas and the Ohio State University Buckeyes. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and enjoy nonpartisan deep dives into big topics like this one, please make sure to subscribe. Would really appreciate and help us do more deep dives like this. If you type in Texas Collective online, you'll be taken to the site for the Texas One Fund.
Yeah, they got that oil money down there.
If you go to the bottom, you'll see some FAQs. In the first, it says the collective is affiliated with the University of Texas's athletic department. If you keep scrolling on the Texas One Fund's website, you'll see that it's also a 501c3, aka a tax-exempt charitable organization. Texas One Fund connects student athletes to utilize their NIL to promote local nonprofits. Now let's look at Ohio State's collective, which is now notorious for its reported $20 million roster this year.
So you guys keep talking about a $20 million roster?
Yeah.
If you don't pay the right guys, you'll be shit out of luck.
The mission
Well,
of
20 million, still lost to Michigan.
Ohio State's collective is to help community charities and raise awareness for them using Ohio State football and men's basketball players' name, image, and likeness as brand ambassadors. Again, this collective claims a purely charitable mission. By the way, it's interesting to see who's on these boards. Ohio State's, for example, comprises Cardell Jones, who, by the way, was their quarterback for the 2014 National Championship. It also includes JT Barrett, Mike Conley, and other OSU legends. Now, the IRS has had enough. In December, the IRS released a letter outlining its priorities for 2025, and NIL collectives were at the top of that list. And no wonder they become a target for the IRS. Enter Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood is the top QB recruit in the class of 2025. Now, he originally signed to play with LSU. He had to play QB for this charismatic charmer, but Michigan wouldn't take it. Tom Brady, Dave Portnoy, and the fourth richest man on planet Earth, Larry Ellison, pulled together what's reportedly a $10 to $12 million NIL deal to get him to play for Michigan. And their efforts worked. Why did Larry Ellison get involved, by the way, the founder of Oracle? It turns out his fifth wife is a massive Michigan fan,
is crazy.
Jolyn Ellison. Here she is pictured next to Larry.
Like the number 2 richest guy on the planet? Yeah, I'll take that phone call. That night, we're on a Zoom. Me, Jolyn, Larry Ellison.
And by the way, Ellison isn't the only billionaire who's trying to win national championships.
I was about to say, Phil Knight, bro. Oregon, like, let's not
the warden of the Pacific
not act like
Northwest,
Oregon
Phil
just
Knight.
be
The founder of Nike is an
sitting back on their
avid
hands.
Oregon Ducks fan. He's long supported the program and the university in general. In fact, he's donated a grand total of $1 billion to the University of Oregon. Before the NIL era,
donating
he
$1 billion
supported
is
the Oregon
crazy.
Ducks football program with athletic facility donations and a special relationship with his little company in Beaverton. And now, thanks to NIL, he's wielding more influence than ever. He's reportedly willing to give unlimited amounts of money to make sure the Oregon Ducks win a national championship. The kind of power that
Do we think Oregon's going to win it? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to ever get over that hump.
he and Ellison wield has sent tremors through the college football world. Shockwaves that have reached Tuscaloosa, Alabama, home of the longtime dominant program of the Crimson Tide. Their athletic director is imploring Crimson Tide Nation to donate more to their collective.
Begging the Yoke
He's not
fans for
alone.
bread is
Tennessee
crazy.
announced a fee on tickets that will go to their NIL collective. They're willing to do anything to keep up with these billionaires.
That's what I've seen a bunch of people say it. Like, up north, that's where kind of the billionaires and stuff are. Like, down south, you know, you got the car dealerships and all that stuff. So back before you could really pay players legally, they were able to keep up. You know, all right, yeah, we'll give you a Hellcat, give you a few, you know, few $50,000. Now it's like, hey, we got to lose up top. They can drop a mill, not even think twice.
It doesn't matter whether we like it or not. This is the world that we live in. There was a thing called the dinosaur a long time ago. You know what? They couldn't figure it out. What happened? They became extinct.
But a big change may be
All right, it might be dragging it a little bit there, gang.
Perhaps beat it. Next year, the NCAA is supposed to move to a revenue share program, which Brandon explains here.
Rev share means that the money for these athletes is going to come directly from the athletic department versus third party or collectives.
So starting next fall, most of the collective money is expected to move to the athletic departments. So instead of the collectives paying the athletes, it will be the programs themselves. Starting July 1st, schools will be able to distribute at least $20.5 million to athletes annually in a capped pay system. This new system won't necessarily eliminate collectives. It will merely shrink their roles. Athletic departments will absorb much of their money, and almost all of that $20.5 million will go to the football programs. Most top schools are reportedly setting aside 85% of that money for their football programs.
Yeah,
so they thought.
That's not gonna fly.
President Biden sent shockwaves through the college football world this week. His
Took some classes where we talked about Title IX.
New guidance that stated
It's not gonna
that
fly.
NIL money needs to be split between men's and women's sports equally. Now, as you may know, Title IX requires athletic departments to have equal numbers of men's and women's sports teams. It regulates how athletic departments operate to maintain equality. The Biden administration is saying that Title IX entails that NIL money must be split between the genders. So, wow, at the 11th hour, the Biden administration has thrown a wrench into college football's plans for next year. With collectives under IRS examination,
college football is like
and
one of the
direct
worst
pay
run things
system in
ever.
jeopardy thanks to Title IX, the future for college football next year is hazier than ever. If athletic departments have to split their NIL money, boosters may wonder if it's worth it to see just 40 cents on their dollar go to the team they most want to support. If you're a college football diehard,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, we want all our, you know, I want my football team to be good. You paying for the women's water polo.
Love to hear your take on the matter. Is this ruining the sport? Will it remain a Wild West? Do you like the Wild West? The only rule for your comments is you have to be upfront with your buys and disclose your team. After all, this is a nonpartisan channel. And one other question to close with. Who would have been the NIL GOAT? That is, who would command the most money all time? Would it be Reggie Bush? Would it be Cam Newton? How about Tim Tebow? Angel Reese? Livy? We asked Brandon, and here's his answer.
Johnny.
Yeah.
How much do you think?
I would say it's either, I'd say it's Johnny Manziel, probably then Reggie Bush afterwards. But yeah, Johnny Manziel, it's not just because he was a good football player, because he was like a personality outside of it too. Like the personality factor is, I think, what's like important to really be that like high earner. So yeah, he would have been my pick.
I think he still probably made more money than Libby, even though it was illegal at the time.
Thanks so much for watching, and remember, please subscribe to the channel. We
Ooh,
really
you got him cooked. Oh, how did he not cook
Thanks so much for
him?
watching, and remember,
Oh, we gotta fix his back plate. We gotta get lower gang. Yeah, much lower. Yeah, he ate the cushion. You got to get in that crossover.
We'd really appreciate it.
Firing. Near corner. It's caught.
Oh, and he went up top on. Oh no, you got a head tag, gang.
Touchdown, Alabama.
All right, another cool vid.
Hey there. If you like that video, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button. And then follow along on Twitch so you can catch all the live moments as they happen.